Someone recently referred to me as having had a fall from grace. To say that someone has had a fall from grace is a very unforgiving and conditional term. Isn't grace only something God can grant you? For a person to say that means that makes them inherently judgmental and full of ego, megalomaniacal maybe even. It presumes that the fallen even cares about the opinions of others, popular or otherwise. In fact, I have never heard this term used self referentially in any way other than sarcasm. My feathers remain unruffled, gracelessly so, apparently. But then again, I never understood people who continuously put importance anywhere more than it needs to be, self included. Consideration of self is substantial enough. But still, I regard myself as a person with a healthy ego. Recklessly so, possibly. It is hard to maintain unwaveringly flawed authenticity and not go mad in the process, although I deal with it sensibly. Empathetically, I would like to think. I think the key to my success is my few deep, but not too deep friendships, and engagement, far enough between that it allows for healthy self reflection and knowledge of oneself. I love all mankind in a way that is rooted in our collective suffering, but maintaining relationships on a regular basis works against my stoicism and single parenthood. I also feel an apathy for most things adult. I have no patience for politics. End war already. We have the answer to the renewable energy problem. We have the cure for cancer, and we all know 9 to 11 was an inside job. Yes, even now, it still is. I would not even know what well informed would look like in this world of deep fakes, fake news, and New World Order. If shit goes tits up, I am gratefully not on any phone trees. I won't see it coming. The kids have it so good. Ignorance is bliss. It is not that I do not want to be well informed. It is just that in order to do so, I must keep unlearning and relearning informational systems and processes. Science will continue to advance until one day we get biblically wiped out in a wiki-leaked deluge, resetting systems and upsetting my already fragile grasp on reality. I would much rather be at the kids' table anyway, for the simple fact that kids have an innocence and simplicity that I find safe. My fun-loving nature creates the erroneous perception that I am somehow stupid. I am naive in some objectively irresponsible ways, but I am not stupid. I am willfully ignorant for all the reasons I mentioned before, ending in prophetic apocalypse, but I am not without the capacity to comprehend. Besides, I have been on the insufferable end of adults who always want to be the most clever in a room, and I detest clever people. Most resort to snarky witticisms, thinly veiled prejudices, and animated, wild gesturing to overtell the most mundane stories. I try, when possible, to meet a person's magical child as fast as I can. So I know how we can be most authentic past the bullshit facade of a good 401k or whatever they think would passively or passive aggressively inform the room of their successes. I like to find the fun, the truly unadulterated fun, and figure out the best way to provoke and prolong that. I am, therefore, a lot of different things to a lot of people based on where and how they store their magic. A lot of things to a lot of people, yet important to no one. I have no master, not even myself. It is liberating. It works for me. It is contrarian without my meaning it to be so. I do not know another way. I dwell in the negative, not the positive spaces. A shadow cast by the prodigious figure of order, and equally as menacing a threat of mutiny. There is a murmuring chaos in me that crescendos in direct proportion to the order without. I will not wait in the queue to be the next lamb to the slaughter. I will need to leave this earth as I came into it, kicking, screaming, poorly planned, and involuntarily. I have early seen behind the curtain of the beast system, and I decided then to fight back, like roaring back into the face of a rival lion. And I know I am not the only one. I have been in the confidence of those who also speak in hushed tones until a trigger word is uttered. And in the end, it is me catching myself mid sentence, realizing that I am speaking too loudly about secrets and science fiction. How did I get here? What was I roaring about? Where was the cut-off point to our candor? How much am I supposed to pretend to not know? Was the other lion even roaring, or was it just me the whole time? Maybe there is no beast. Who was I speaking to? Has it just been me this whole time? With the amount of gaslighting I have undergone as a part of cultural conditioning, at this point, it feels as if it has just been me rocking myself back and forth self soothing in a cluttered corner. Ironically, most conspiratorial conversations start with a bit of introspection stating, is it just me, or? In my youth, those conversations were among friends, beginning conspiratorially with, I wonder what would happen if? In this manner, my life has been a psychosocial experiment gone awry, an exhausting array of near escapes and divinely scripted disasters. I would be lying if I said I'd not feel some satisfaction in my ability to find balance in the random assortment of my precariously off kilter life experiences, a life made all the more complex and unsteady with a child, two dogs, and two birds. My contentment is not in the sordid satisfaction of getting away with something. It is more like I tried something, failed, and it didn't kill me. If I do that long enough, I think that is still considered some kind of life having been lived. I think even in hindsight, I can honestly say that most of it has been a life worth living, if only lived by the logic that I am not dead yet. I existed. There is proof. I imprinted, if only by way of my son. I tried, and that deserves some merit. Any success I have in life may actually be in the trying referenced in the same tone as a horror film. I do that well trying. I did my best given the fucks I had at the time. It feels weird to say that as an inherent truth and self confession. It is not saying that I did not care. What it means is that I did the best with the care that I had. There is a big difference in the rephrasing. I did my best, period. I cared, period. As a person with a deeply depressive personality, it is hard to give a flying fuck about societal expectations and norms. This is my life to live as I choose. Make deliberate mistakes, I say. I am going to make them anyway, so I might as well make them well calculated and worth it. In looking at my life, you would think there were no consequences and that I was horrendously bad at math, given the myriad of my life's miscalculations. But I compute my numbers differently than others. My notion of success has a low bar, and staying alive is an exhaustive hurdle even for that level at times. It is, therefore, no wonder that Maslow's hierarchy for me remains unsatisfied, being another pyramid scheme where we scramble over ourselves and each other. Top. Actually, it remains unsatisfied, except to say that I tried, and it did not kill me. I have spent a lot of time on the lower rung in survival, or survival mode, of the fittest, simply out of the love of trying new things. Most people just choose something that resonates, or at least that pays well, and follow that to retirement. But what if you try something once, hate it, try it again, and love it? I reckon by the third time, you will have had time to assess whether or not you truly like the thing, and even why. By examining the differing context with which the thing was experienced, the probability of gaining concrete self knowledge increases the more times you try the thing. Therefore, I will try anything thrice, based on the sheer logic of it. And if I divorce myself from the weight of ego and do a detailed assessment in terms of any physical risk that might be undertaken, by way of a cost benefit analysis, I would actually say that trying is the only motivating factor in my life. It makes life worth living. It is in the trying and not in the mastery of any one thing, unless it presents itself organically in search of a new trying. To master walking, one must crawl first. Many people are no longer interested in trying because it denotes a humbling need to start at a distinctly new beginning, to kneel at the feet of your novice self. Oh, but what better way to be revived? Born anew and baptized in the virgin waters of ineptitude. There is so much to try in this world, and so many people to be and meet, even if it is just a flash of recognition in the passing reflection of a stranger. If there is anything that I have mastered the art of being a stranger. I have reinvented myself over and over again on the road to becoming someone else. And I have tampered with time zones and tempted the probability of terrifying plane crashes in order to meet myself in the face of the foreign. My love of travel trumps my love of anything else in this world, save myself and my son. And to be honest, it probably rivals even my love of self, since I know in my gut that it will be the pursuit of trying something, or someplace new, that will invariably be the death of me. I would say, however, that the odds of that have redemptively diminished since giving birth to my son. Again, the math. The cost tips away from any significant beneficial reward when it comes to traveling, at least in the way that I was once accustomed to. Inertia was already at play, and this stone was already rolling when my papa died. And although I have gained many wrinkles and gray hair, I remain moss free.